Hey, what is going on, everyone? Welcome
Welcome to
to
iCarly.
not quite our Carly. Welcome to the Promethean Tides. I'm General, and there's something weird this week. I'm actually not joined by Breaker. I think that he's gotten a little bit busy with work and whatnot, so he's on a hiatus. So this time I am joined by Jix. What is going on, Jix?
Hello.
Hey. Okay. All right. So we had an interesting week this week. One thing that happened was Hurricane Ian came up, and it's been blasting Florida. Of course, our thoughts and prayers for those who have been affected by the hurricane. Of course, no money.
Somebody needed to wash Florida.
Maybe. Of course, no money, no donations, no physical help, but they do have our thoughts and prayers. And what you see on your screen here is actually this is what could happen in the future. You see, all these hurricanes, they're caused by climate change. My scientific knowledge tells me that actually hurricanes didn't exist before the Industrial Revolution. They are solely the result of us putting carbon dioxide into the air. And this image, I'll just read it. Scientists say this map represents the U.S. in 30 years if we don't reverse climate change. And that does look very scary to me. I'll tell you what. I hope that this doesn't happen. It looks like it would really take out a big section of the Rocky Mountains, most of Colorado, big section of Texas. These are things that we want to avoid, people. So just look at this image and just understand that is our future if we don't do something about this incredibly dire threat.
Yeah, no more California. What's the big deal?
Well, yeah, there are silver linings. I agree. So there's that, and but the main thing that we will be talking about on the show this evening is what the fuck is going on with the Ukraine and Russia and the Nord Stream pipeline. So let's see, Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines, they were damaged. There was seismic activity. That was. Hold on, one sec here. There was seismic. Someone recorded some seismic activity. Seemed like a bomb went off or some sort of detonation, and both Nord Stream 1 and 2 have been damaged, and now natural gas is bubbling up from the pipe all the way up to, I guess, the top of the ocean, and. It's a mystery. It's a whodunit. Is it Russia? Is it America? Is it Zimbabwe? We don't know. So
it was the Mongols.
It could have been Mongolia. But Jax, who do you think it is?
I would be inclined to say it's America because Germany was buying oil from Russia after we sanctioned Russia and draw a line in this conflict. We said, okay, so we want to put pressure on Russia, but Germany was still buying oil from Russia, so it would make sense if the United States blew up the pipeline to keep Germany from getting that oil from Russia.
Well, yeah, so that is... in this case, it's not oil, it's natural gas, but, they use it for energy, same difference. And I think that I'm inclined to agree, but I think that maybe we could go over some of the ideas about why it is that some people think it's one or the other. So some people think it's Russia, especially the media. And why is it Russia? Well, right now Putin is very unpopular in his country. It seems as though even his own state-run media has started to turn against him and openly question what the fuck they're doing in Ukraine. And so this could be a false flag attack by Russia to get the Russian people energized to go to war and fight with Ukraine. Almost like a one of those like Bush did 9/11 things. Putin did the Nord Stream pipeline attack. It could be that. That's possible. What do you think about that, Chicks?
It's not impossible. But yeah, like I just heard about this as we were talking pre-show. I have some opinions about Ukraine in general and global politics, but there's not much I can say about this.
Okay, yeah. Then I'll just we can get into that in a minute, and I'll just go over the idea of why America did this. Well, let's see here. So this is from October 1st, 2022. So this is an article that came out today. This is from ABC News. They have a new Greece-Bulgaria gas pipeline that was just opened. A pipeline that would run from Greece to Bulgaria, which would provide natural gas to Europe. It just opened, and it's a direct competitor, as far as I know, to the Nord Stream pipeline. And this is the pipeline that NATO favors, and it just opened. And boy, wouldn't it be handy if you just built this big old pipeline, and then, oh no, something just happened to explode on your competition's pipeline. So, to me, this is potentially a reason why it could be America. I also have a short clip from Biden.
I love these. I collect these like baseball cards. Little Biden NFTs.
Yeah, someone should get into that. So this is just a quick 30-second clip. I'm going to play it so we can hear what Biden had to say.
Let me answer the first question first. If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
How will you do that exactly, since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control?
We will. I promise you, we'll be able to do it.
Okay, so that was Biden saying that if Russia decides to invade the Ukraine, and this was this was in February, so this was a few months ago, back in February, and that was Biden saying that if Russia invades the Ukraine, then the Nord Stream pipeline will cease to function. And then the reporter asks, "Wait, but the Nord Stream pipeline, it's under German control. How would you do that?" Russian and German control. And Biden goes, "Trust me." And then he smirks, and that's him smirking right there. So it seems as though it makes very little sense for Russia to have done this. I would say that it's probably some sort of, either it's America or it's NATO. That seems to be the most likely thing to me. Of course, I think that the galaxy-brained conspiracy theory is that actually this was a joint operation between both the U.S. and Russia. They're in cahoots. They both bombed it together because, for whatever reason,
Because schizophrenia.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was the news with some of the gas pipeline stuff. Jix, you said that you had some more general ideas about this Russia-Ukraine
Yeah, you
thing.
talking about us and Russia being in cahoots actually brings me to my point. So this whole Ukraine conflict is it gives us an opportunity. So I think I can kind of see how Putin might have an ethnic argument for why Ukraine is Russia, because Kiev was the original capital of Russia, and so I think that if we can concede most of Ukraine, or at least the parts of Ukraine that Putin wants, to Russia, maybe we can get in return, self-determination for Eastern Russia if they should desire it, and give Putin deference in choosing what he believes is part of Russia in a new kind of like Westphalian hammering out of the map for a global federation in which food is freely shared between member states, but each individual state will be given their own cultural self-determination within a few universal mores, like war crimes. Basically, kind of what the UN is trying to do, except we are very capable of feeding the world within American borders, and we might as well do that. And even, I believe, feed our enemies, like Russia and China, to kind of coax them to the negotiation table. Because while they can feed themselves, freeing up their freeing up their funds from agriculture will allow them to progress in other ways, and then we can all work together as a multipolar world with diverse cultures.
Well, yeah, that's one thing that we could do. Of course, I think for the past few decades, we've been feeding a lot of Africa, and because we're giving them the food for free, it becomes very difficult for the farmers in Africa to compete with free food, because, I mean, they can't sell it for free, maybe cheap, but they can't do free, and so that actually has kind of crushed Africa's ability to feed itself and be self-sustainable when it comes to farming. And
Africa needs to educate itself, and if we feed Africa, it can educate itself.
Well, I mean, I think that maybe they could do both. Like, I think it's important for, like, there to be jobs that they can do to farm. Like, it helps them be productive. It helps them be self-sustainable. I don't know if it's the best idea for their economy to be based off of handouts from the first world,
Well, here's what I think. It says in the Bible, all under the sun is vanity. So, to toil, to work, to compete, it's all vanity. And I think the end goal for global politics, international relations, all of this is I think the greatest good is to free up enough time for everyone to pray and meditate, because this is all that matters. And we can feed them, so why don't we?
So our goal should be to, like, feed the world so that we can all meditate and achieve enlightenment, something like that.
Yes.
Okay, well, I mean, that's a nice idea. I'm not sure if everyone is super interested in enlightenment. I know the Buddhists are, but I don't know if everyone is. Some people like drugs and power and money and hookers.
Sure, drugs are fine. If you want to do drugs, whatever. Power is the kind of thing we would be eliminating here, because we can feed the world just from what we have within our borders. We can do it, and once we do that, how much conflict have we already erased? How much time have we freed up for our enemies even to pursue this power? And then once they have it, even if they use it, what are they? Are they going to have a system better than us? Where we've fed everyone? They'll make the world worse, and I don't think that they would consciously make the world worse.
Well, I don't think that most people want to actively make the world worse, but I think that some people are willing to do so if it helps them achieve their aims, like Putin, for instance. He went ahead and said, hey, I want to take Ukraine. Maybe his reasons are valid, maybe they're not, but he is willing to cause a lot of death and human suffering in order to achieve his aims. That's what people do. Maybe some people don't want to do that, but some people will do that. It's inevitable.
And if we fed our enemies like Putin and Xi Jinping, they would be more inclined to work in concert with us.
Well, I mean, maybe, but I mean, I don't know if food is enough. I mean, here in the West, we've produced so much food that obesity rates are the highest amongst the poor. So I don't know if just food is enough to sit around the campfire and sing Kumbaya.
It's a start. It's what will relax negotiations a little bit. Like, look at us. We're your friend. You really want to fight us?
Well, okay. I mean, let's take this down from, I guess, the abstract international conflict scale, and let's just bring it down to like more of like a human level. Let's say that you're dating this chick, and she's really hot, and
She's got a tattoo on her pussy.
She could, yeah. Maybe it looks like a mouth. Who knows? And this girl, you want to have babies with her, and then this guy, he's like, hey, I want to fuck your girl. Do you just give him a hot dog and say, hey, go for it?
No, of course not. No. We need to protect the sanctity of family.
Well, right. So then inevitably conflict does happen because she's hot and she has that nice tattoo, and inevitably there's going to be competition for dat puss. So it's inevitable that conflict will arise. And if conflict can arise at a human-to-human level, then it can certainly arise at a nation-to-nation level. It seems inevitable to me.
Well, yeah, that's why we allow these different nations cultural self-determination, but we still feed everyone because as our Western ethic, which is basically reason, goes, it is the right thing to do.
Well, okay, so when it comes to the realpolitik, I mean, you can say that this is the morally upstanding thing to do, but oftentimes that doesn't seem to matter very much. In fact, international relations rarely tend to operate via morality. How would you get all of these large machines to behave morally? Like, how would it benefit them?
You might have to divert some military funds to buy up like Cisco or Syngenta or whatever to literally so it would be kind of like democratic socialism where you would vote for members of Congress who would divert funding to buy up a big portion of the agricultural industry, which you could technically call military funds because it is for the purpose of ending war.
Okay, so we can use the government to use its military to start taking over parts of the economy so that we can distribute resources according to...
Not using the military like that. Diverting military funds to buy the industry.
Okay, right. Okay, so then we use the government to take over, I guess, private industry so that the government can then, I guess, distribute the resources according to how it sees fit.
Yeah, but we still allow competition from other agricultural industries.
Okay, right. It's just that the government has like maybe the largest share of the production of agriculture, like a monopoly. But there's also some other players in the game.
Yeah, and you would have multiple nations contributing. So it wouldn't all fall on America. It could all fall on America. We have the military power. We have the agricultural space. It could all fall on America. And I think we really could end all this international relations fucking quagmire like in the next 10 years if we just extend goodwill.
Oh, okay, all right. I mean, I think that in the modern day and age, especially here in America, people want for things besides food. Maybe they want, I don't know, like a TV or a car. So I don't know. I don't think that we can just stop at food, right? But
those things you have to work for. Okay. But we don't nationalize any of those industries. Just food. Just that's just what you need to keep breathing, live your life. Because life, man, God, it's beautiful, and we're all alive here now.
Okay, all right. I think I'm picking up what you're putting down. But then let's say that we do completely subsidize food the world over. So I guess my first question is, does everyone just get bread as a baseline, or do you get lobster and caviar? Like, what's the
you don't
standard?
get lobster and caviar. I mean, fish for sure is going to be important, but like rice are really cheap carbs, nuts cheap fat and protein. Carbs and protein are very important. Then you'll need vitamin K from green vegetables, which makes your bones dense. Dairy, I like dairy, just staples, whole food staples, ones that can be produced cheaply. And I'm not saying soybeans. I don't like soy either, but peanuts, are so cheap. Sunflower seeds, and they're the same thing. They're high in fat, they're high in protein. Rice is so cheap, high in carbs. And you need your carbs, you need your protein, you need your vitamins, you need your fat. So produce and protein and carbs, and you're set. Some nutritionalists will contradict me, but I'm sure that there are cheap, healthy ways to feed the world.
Well, and it would be obviously be up to the government to decide what the people get. I hope that they don't go with the original food pyramid, which said that like fucking 60 or 70% of your diet should just be bread and rice, because I mean, that I don't know if that's the healthiest thing, just eating a whole bunch of grains and starchy foods. But yeah, I guess it'll be up to the government to decide what the food is that you should get. If they decide that it's bread and rice and that's mostly what you get, then that'll be what you get.
Well, yeah, it's also free food, and you can work to earn your own food if you want different food.
Okay, all right. So,
we're not abolishing capitalism here.
Okay, I guess that I could get behind, sort of, almost like a I guess that this would be like a universal basic income, but for food. Like, you get a few staples that are guaranteed to you by the government so that you can survive out on the streets and not starve to death. I guess that maybe I could sort of support that, but when it comes to this ending international conflict, I mean, see, all these nations, they don't, a lot of the powerful ones, they're not necessarily wanting for food, they're wanting for, like, oil and energy and, you know, the ability to make semiconductors and stuff like that. So there will still be competition at the international level, because, I mean, in the modern day globalized economy, food isn't actually the thing that most people are fighting over. It's all of the other shit. So I don't know if this will actually reduce, I guess, wars or fighting for resources. But sure, maybe we could do like a universal basic food income. I'm not necessarily opposed to that.
Yeah, and if you're living in some underdeveloped country and you want like technology or oil or some other comfort or this or that, here's what you do: we feed you, you get an education, you come to America. I think, and that's just the way that it's been. We're just extending another benevolence here. But if you're talking about developing the rest of the world, that is a more complicated conversation. But I think we can. I think that what I'm proposing is a very actionable step that we could do right now.
Well, as I said before, I think that our mass supplying of food to Africa has actually done probably more harm than good in the long run. Because if you think about it, if you have a nation that is a third world nation, you can't just turn them into, I guess, like Google programmers, overnight or after a week or whatever.
Obviously,
you need infrastructure in order to grow the economy. It's going to take multiple generations to actually build up an economy to that level. It's going to take a long time, and you don't just go from third world to first world. You actually have to take steps in between. And so actually one of like a decent way for like a really shit economy, like, I don't know, I'm thinking like Ghana or something, for them to really get off their feet, then I mean, actually agriculture is a decent way, because then people can be employed farming, selling the goods to other people, and then once you have that established, then maybe like some local grocery stores can occur, and then you have like merchants who can sell the food to other people and be a middleman. That's how you start up an economy. If you just give them the food directly, then there's no reason to farm. In fact, you actually it's a waste of time to farm, because you won't be able to compete with free, and then the supermarket can't open up, and all these other things that are built off of that can't open up, and so you actually end up stagnating their economy in your attempt to help them.
Their economy doesn't really matter globally. I mean, like, shit's never gonna happen in Africa. We know this.
Well, I mean, but I'm not saying that in the next 10 years they're gonna, become the next Silicon Valley. But it's better to teach a man to fish than to just give him a fish, right? And that applies not just to human level. It also applies on like an economics level. If you just always give him the fish, that's actually hurting him in that metaphor.
But they need to. I mean, they need nutrition for their brains to learn shit, right? So here on the African front, what we do, so we give them the food. We consistently give them the food. We say this is guaranteed every year. We'll feed you every year. Yada yada yada. Maybe they start letting white farmers back in Zimbabwe. You know, some shit like that.
Well, I mean, they could, but then the white farmers also wouldn't want to farm because they have to compete with free. You can't compete with free when you're selling a product.
Yeah, but I mean, like we could source their food. They can become independent. You know, so maybe they don't want to be dependent anymore. Like it comes with more power. I mean, so you allow them their cultural self-determination and economic self-determination if they can hack it. And we teach them to be able to hack it. What we're trying to do is maximize independence, but also peace and self-determination of different nations or tribal territories. You know, I'm a big fan of ethnic purity. Say what you want about that, but your language, your culture, your whatever you want to protect, you should have the right to do so. You want to ban immigrants? Fucking fine. There's 100 other countries that'll let them in. If you want to ban immigrants, it's fine. You know, so some shit like that. But still, you know, with like the altruistic leftiness of sharing food, you know. But we can't, you know, like we can't degrade the degrade and standardize the morals of these places. That's the folly of globalism.
Well,
so this is globalism done in a Republican way.
I mean, maybe. I mean, it does sound a little bit different, but I'm not sure that this actually promotes peace, right? So, for instance, think about any sort of government-subsidized housing project with welfare and food stamps. These people are given...
No, don't give them housing. Don't give them housing.
Well, okay,
let them figure that out.
But in this scenario, I mean, they're given shelter and they're given enough money to get basic food, and it's given to them for free. They can actually just subsist off of that, and yet in these areas, that's where you see some of the most violence. I think that actually, when you just give people free shit and they don't have to like try to work, then
give them housing. You give all the poor people housing, and you put them in the same place. Yeah, and you give them like shit. Yeah, this is gonna be violence, but you just give them food to keep them alive, and then have faith in God. That's a better plan.
Okay,
you know, because it's our duty. You know, we can do it. It is our duty.
So your plan is food and God, and that'll make peace happen.
Yeah. Faith is a meme thing nowadays, but God is real. Well, people pretend he's not.
I mean, some people pretend that Israel isn't real, but Israel is real.
Well, the nation of Israel is like a thing, right? But the territory, whatever, it's the Levant, whatever. It's been conquered by many different tribes.
Okay. Well, look, I'm actually I'm not a Christian myself, but I am a promoter of faith. I think that there's a reason why it exists. I think it is necessarily beneficial to humans to have some sort of faith, and I think that humans do need a faith. I 100% agree with you on that. But yeah, okay. Well, I guess that I think that we could attempt to feed the world. I can see maybe some problems that might occur with that. I mean, here's another potential one, right? If we look at NATO, the U.S. contributes most of the funding towards NATO, and then Germany has actually been not contributing their fair share to NATO, and this is something that Trump himself pointed out. Now, when it and that's actually kind of weird, right? Because NATO is the thing that is specifically defending Germany, not America. But whatever, Germany hasn't been paying their fair share. Now, let's say that we were to attempt to feed all of Africa and every single other third world nation, and hell, let's say second world nation as well. Then, I think that some of the countries may end up not paying their fair share because it's kind of a tax on their economy, right? So, in the same way that Germany doesn't want to pay for NATO, maybe also Germany wouldn't want to pay for the food because it's a tax on their economy. They'll try to find some way around it, and then the bill is left up to America because we have so much goddamn corn. Like, I could also see that being an issue, and then that actually might cause conflict because then the U.S. would go to Germany. They'll be like, "Yo, what the fuck? Where's the wheat?" And Germany says, "Oh no, we can't supply the wheat this year." But they could, but they don't want to. So I don't know if it's going to solve everything, but it is an interesting idea.
Yeah, you need contracts. You would need you would need like a system of punishment. Like, so, okay, you don't
like
meet your
the
promises.
UN. The UN is
What?
really good at enforcing contracts and punishing people who violate the contracts.
Yeah, I can't tell if you're being sarcastic about that because
I
I
am
don't know
actively,
much about the UN. But I know that what I'm proposing is a lot like the UN, but a little more aggressive, a little more hop straight to it.
Well, the issue with the UN is that it doesn't itself have nukes, and so if you're someone who has nukes, you can just ignore the UN.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I think this this plan I have in my notes, I've been writing about it. The foundation of it needs to be the United States military. That is basically like an imperial military. But like a really nice imperial military. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. Like, we'll be like authoritarian, but we'll do it like nicely and maybe like correct this time.
Well, it's a federation.
Right.
That I'm proposing here. So it looks like a republic, but there is a federal government with a few overarching permissions to keep peace and morality.
Okay, so like in the same way that the Roman Republic eventually became the Roman Empire, maybe the American Republic could eventually become the American Empire.
Yeah. We might want something like a president or like a triumvirate or something like that, like up in the executive office. Maybe not like a monarch. But yeah, so the initial step of my plan here is to make nice with the Russians. So we give them the parts of Eastern Europe that they want, that they think is Russia, and maybe convince them to allow Eastern Russia self-determination, because that is part of the ideal here is national self-determination. Because like I don't know that much about Russia, but I know the eastern parts are probably not that Russian. But anyway, and maybe we get their military and our military to sign to a world constitution, to uphold certain laws and to not interfere unless these very few laws are being broken.
Okay, like a truly global sort of like world government kind of thing.
Yeah.
So in the American Empire, if you had to choose who would be, the founding emperor, the first emperor of the American Empire, would you rather it be Trump or Biden if you had to choose?
Oh God, that's a really bad choice. Andrew Yang, maybe.
Oh, the Yang Gang.
I'm not choosing between Trump or Biden. It's neither of those guys. Bernie Sanders, I think, is Bernie Sanders is a real man of God.
I mean, I think he might. I think isn't he like an atheist?
Doubt it.
I thought he. I mean, I think he's ethnically he's Jewish, but I think he's I think, or like agnostic. Like, I don't think he goes to synagogue.
I hear God in that man.
When he says the millionaires and the billionaires.
No, he's honest, bro, and he never changes character. Like, I don't know if you saw this clip, but it's appalling. He was debating Biden in the Democratic primaries, and he was asking Biden about his super PACs. And Biden's like, what about your 9 super PACs, Bernie? And Bernie's like, I don't have any super PACs. Everybody knows Bernie doesn't have super PACs. And then Joe Biden's like, oh, come on, man. And he's like, and Bernie's like, I'm not going to let you go on this one, Joe. And how is Joe Biden going to tell such a blatant, unbelievable lie and get away with it and become the fucking president?
Well,
Like, they've been jipping Bernie Sanders for fucking 8 years, man. He's the best candidate.
for the Democrats, perhaps he is. I mean,
For America, dude.
he
For
hasn't
America.
he hasn't always supported the same things, though, because if you'll remember back to the 2016 election, so I guess this was during 2015 when the primaries were occurring. He was very much against Hillary, and actually way back then in 2015, I was actually a supporter of Bernie. And then his campaign got, I guess, kind of cheated, honestly, by the Clinton campaign. And it was very upsetting. But then, at the end of all of that, after he got completely cheated by Hillary Clinton, he turned around and he endorsed her. And I think that wasn't the best look for Bernie Sanders.
No, but it's not about optics at that point. He was he saw Trump, as many did, as an existential threat to America and what America is. And I mean, so is Hillary, but I guess he aligned more with Hillary and chose the lesser of two evils, like everybody is forced to do every year that we don't have Bernie Sanders or Andrew Yang or somebody good on the ballot.
Okay, right, because Hillary Clinton is like a neoliberal. Bernie Sanders is more of like a socialist type, and what you're saying is that you're sick of the neoliberalism, you want the socialism.
No, I kind of like the whole neoliberal kind of fucking. I'm a fucking neoliberal, absolutely, but neoliberalism leads to democratic socialism. It's a necessary step.
Okay.
So Hillary Clinton is actually kind of like trying to maintain the status quo because she comes from power and she is power. Would be my rough guess of where her position is.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you'll have to explain that one. How is it that I guess maintaining the status quo, but also having the government have a very incestuous relationship with mega corporations that get government funding and yet also get to operate in this weird thing where they can lobby politicians and give them money in order to get more government funding? Is that I guess that does kind of sound like democratic socialism now that I'm thinking about it. You know what? You might have a point there.
It's I just read the Communist Manifesto recently, and Marx says that at this stage of the historical process that it's a class war between the bourgeoisie, landowners, capital holders, against the proletariat. And the enlightened elites of the bourgeoisie will see this and pander to the proletarians as much as possible to retain as much power as possible in the transition process.
Okay, so you don't want to just...
So you have these super rich, super corrupt Democrats who are also campaigning for social programs to appease the poor.
I mean, right, I can agree with that, and they propagandize the poor to get their votes and then never actually help the poor that they're claiming to help. I totally agree. I'm on board with that one. But you're not saying like democratic socialism. You actually want to eventually get rid of the government altogether and go full-blown, fully automated luxury gay space communism.
No.
Star Trek style.
I want self-determination for every nation on Earth, for every nation that declares itself a nation. I want a very diverse republic.
Okay, but I mean, but that would also imply a massive amount of government influence in most aspects of the economy.
Yeah. Most food. I say food.
Just
I
food.
say, yeah. If you want to produce something else in your country, then you pay taxes to your country and you make your own money. And I'm not saying eliminate capitalism.
Okay, so
this is kind of like Keynes, right? He said mix social programs with the free market and all that.
I was never a big fan of Keynes, but I'll tell you what. If we can keep the rest of the economy as a completely free market, and in fact, we kick the government out of it, some of the things that it currently has its fingers in, like big tech and like the military-industrial complex and all that kind of stuff. We kick the government out of a whole bunch of all that stuff, but then we say, okay, the purpose of the government is food. It's a food-based government, and they can't do anything else except for food. I am actually on board with this plan, because it is better than what we currently have. This actually, I support this.
Thank you. There's also the mold bug route, where the corporations become their own nations. Like Amazon, they could buy some territory, maybe. I don't know. I don't think the United States would let that fly without a fight. But that's the mold bug idea.
No, that's just called straight up anarcho-capistan, and well, that may not be the worst thing. You completely get rid of the government, and you just let companies compete for who has the best government system, and you allow people to freely move between different, I guess, corporate governments. I don't think it would ever work in practice, but it is a pretty cool idea, and it is full on anarcho-capitalist, which I think is based.
I have seen it lampooned in Sorry to Bother You. Have you seen that movie?
National Lampoon?
No. The movie Sorry to Bother You lampooned this idea of Amazon being basically its own country.
Oh, I did see that movie, and that was a pretty entertaining movie, and actually fairly smartly written. Yeah, that's the one with the telemarketer guy.
Yeah, the black people.
Yeah, and I guess they get turned into horses with ginormous cocks.
Yeah, it got pretty absurd there at the end. We don't really understand that part yet, but I guess they're probably doing some ungodly experiments in government labs, in every nation. They don't have morals in China, so we just reactionarily don't have morals in America.
Do you all right, let me ask you a question. So when it comes to the UFO sightings that we've been seeing, do you think that the UFOs are aliens, or do you think that they're out of like a government like black funded, like deep military operation?
Oh, they're the military for sure. If you do the math, the odds that we ever come in contact with an alien civilization they're infinitesimal. It's not. It did not happen in fucking 1947. Okay, of all times, of all places, do you know how fucking big a galaxy is? It's
pretty big.
Yeah. You know how long it takes the fucking light of a star to get here? Like, not our sun. It's just there's no way aliens in flying metal spaceships come here. No way. They'd have to come through a fucking interdimensional portal.
Okay, all right. I got two ideas for you. Okay, first idea, simplest of all. Some advanced alien civilization figured out how to make a warp drive, also known as like an albecular drive, and so they can go faster than the speed of light. That's one idea. But here's another that doesn't violate known physics. It's called von Neumann probes, right? So the idea is that you
hear you, or you just hear them?
You didn't hear me yet. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So the idea is that you get a probe, and it's self-replicating, and let's say that it flies at 10% the speed of light, but every time it hits a new solar system, it makes 100 copies of itself and then sends them out into all directions.
How is that possible?
Well, you just make a self-replicating probe that can achieve something like 10% of the speed of light, right? It's less inconceivable than going faster than the speed of light. It's just a self-replicating.
It's just transmit information efficiently. By the time it got to an alien civilization, we would be dead. We'd all be dead.
Okay, right. But imagine this: it's a probe, and it has an AI in it, so it's smart. It's a smart probe, and it can self-replicate. Now, if you sent one of these von Neumann probes out, it could actually colonize the entire galaxy, I think, in like 200,000 years or something, which is a blink of an eye when it comes to like galactic timescales. So it's possible that there might be a fucking alien probe up there on the moon that's driven by an AI, and it's super smart, and it's just looking at us. It's possible.
Yeah. I've talked to schizophrenics who tell me that interdimensional aliens disguise themselves as light poles.
I'm not.
You know, because that's no. This is serious.
I'm not advocating for that theory.
Like,
but what I'm saying is that is something that has been, I guess, advanced as a potential idea by, I guess, not just like science fiction authors or whatever, but it was actually like an idea that was kind of proposed within science itself. Von Neumann probes. You can Wikipedia it.
Yeah, but I'm serious about these interdimensional aliens. Totally possible. I believe that they
and
are
the Clockwork
probably
Hills.
like present. Like you and I might be inside the same 10 interdimensional aliens right now. Like we might be like part of interdimensional aliens.
We
like a
could.
cell in the body of an interdimensional alien.
I mean, we might shit, and if I can get my hands on enough DMT, that might start to make sense.
Yeah, and that's what DMT and all this shit does. It shatters the self, right? So you can look at things as they are, which is like I barely understand relativity, so I'm gonna butcher it. But if you zoom out and look at the universe, at things as they actually are, everything's just one big giant fucking cloud wave type shit. Like you and I don't fucking exist.
Man, that's some. You know what? To bring this all the way back and make this go full circle, that sounds like some fucking Buddhist enlightenment stuff.
Yeah, it is. The religions were talking about this shit thousands of years ago. Like when they had astrology, we probably have the means to prove astrology now. The fucking the forces of planets and stars moving around up there, and you think you have any free will relative to that? Like I doubt it.
I'm a Cancer. What are you?
Taurus.
Oh, okay.
Virgo. My friend here's a Virgo.
Okay, so we got a crab, a bull, and a virgin. That's nice.
Yep.
So
I'm a descendant of the Lyran starseed, though.
all right, so I guess Jix here, he has a friend of his. Hello, Jix's friend.
You can give him like an internet handle, like a fake name.
My name's Quinn, man. They call me Mighty Quinn. That's my real name.
Quint. Okay, Quint is fine. Hey, what's going on, Quint?
Quinn. Quinn. Quinn.
Oh, Quinn. Okay, hey, what's going on, Quinn?
Nice to meet you, brother. I've heard a lot about you and your podcast.
Oh, well, hey, how's it going?
I'm not like internet savvy.
Oh, well, yeah, that's fine. But yeah, so what? I forget what's the difference between a crab and a bull? Like, is there what does the astrology do? Does it make your personality different?
Cancers, I think, are ruled by Jupiter and their water signs. A Taurus is ruled by Venus. It's an earth sign.
Okay. So what is, how does that manifest in terms of a person? Does it make you, if I'm water, does that make me more, fluid? Or...
Yeah, I believe it does. So Jupiter is it's the biggest planet. It's the planet of judgment, and it means Sky Father. And for all of recorded history, they've worshipped the Sky Father, and it's the biggest planet. And it's also the pointer finger in the Hindu mudras. The pointer finger, judgment, Jupiter.
Okay.
I say that Virgos are like humble, effective, industrious, and practical.
Yeah, they're ruled by Mercury, which is intelligence and
Wisdom.
Information. Yeah.
Okay.
The messenger.
And
that is in the Hindu mudras, Mercury is the pinky, which is on the edge and probing and small and subtle, like Mercury, like intelligence, information.
All right. It seems like you know a lot about this. And what about yourself? What's the Taurus?
Venus. That's love and material sensation.
Oh, so you're the hedonist.
Yeah. I have some problems with drugs and being lazy. Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. A lot of people do. That's all right.
Yeah, I do too, man.
But here's how they figured out astrology thousands of years ago, and I experienced this by smoking some datura. And I was thinking of the world as flat at the time because I don't know shit. I don't pretend to know shit. And I smoked this datura, and suddenly I could feel the fucking earth moving under me, and I could feel and see the moon moving across the sky. And so I was running with it, trying to keep pace with it, and I could feel the stars and the planets and all that shit. And that's why and before they had all this industrial noise, they were feeling it, man. They were out under the stars, and they knew this by intuition.
Is the datura, I think, is that salvia?
No, it's angel's trumpet, or sometimes they call it hell's bells. I don't like to call it that.
Oh, is that the mushroom?
No, it's a flower.
I know the flower.
Oh
my god. That's I know what you're talking about. I've heard that's an incredibly hellish experience for most people, and they wouldn't recommend it.
Oh yeah, well when I smoked it with some tobacco and I aligned with the planets. That was fucking awesome. But when I made it into a tea with some hot water from a gas station and drank too much of it, everything was shades of purple and black, and my muscles didn't work.
Oh shit! Sounds like you got like paralyzed and poisoned. None of that sounds like fun.
Well, it was used as a poison back in the day. It depresses your respiratory system. You can't get enough oxygen into your muscles.
It sounds like if you took too much of that, it could definitely be fatal. That's something that
it would kill you. Yeah.
On.
Yeah, assassins used to use it to kill people.
Well, you know what? That's kind of a nice way to kill someone because, like, yeah, you're gonna die, but you'll trip the fuck out while you're dying. That's not the worst way to go.
I bet dying is never not a trip out.
Well,
I mean, what it is though. It could be the most pleasant experience there is.
I think it depends on how you go. Like if you like die in a fire, I don't see that being pleasant like any time.
I bet once your nerves melt off, it's probably pretty fucking trippy. And I'm not saying a trip is always pleasant. But
check this out, right? Like let's say you're on a battlefield and a tank fires like its huge ass cannon and it just hits you directly in the face. I think that like your brain is so annihilated at that point that you don't even get to have the trippy like DMT experience of death. I think one instance you're there, one instant you're not.
Well, the you that is not there anymore is your soul, and it's still tripping. It's just your body's dead.
Right, yeah. Do you think that the molecule DMT can still affect your immaterial soul?
I don't think it might. Your soul might manifest in DMT in the material world.
So I had a friend that made this stuff out of tree bark in these mason jars, and he said that he used DMT. I've always been really scared to do it because I'm very spiritual and religious, and I feel like it's not my place to approach the entities. But he said like every time that he would trip DMT, he came to like this lobby, and he was in a waiting room, and like the entities was first talking to him and telling him how the human race is very disappointing to them, and that he kept coming to this lobby, this waiting room, to get knowledge and seek knowledge. But eventually they was just like, dude, what are you here for? Like you've come here so many times uninvited, and we was gracious to give you advice, and now we are giving you a warning to like quit bothering us.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, he should probably heed that warning because those interdimensional beings are probably a lot more powerful than he is.
Yeah, he definitely did, but he still, I believe, makes it.
Oh, there's this other verse from the Bible.
Oh boy.
All under the sun is vanity. So you could say that you could take that like how it seems, right? Or you could take it as like an astrophysical statement Is anything with less force than the sun struggles in vain, lacks self-determination.
Oh, yeah, okay. Actually, it's interesting that you bring that up. I actually have I have an image here. Let me see if I can find it. One sec. Sorry, this is a little bit of dead air, but just one sec.
You're good, brother.
I'm telling you, man, you should just edit these a little bit.
I like this guy.
He's a good guy.
I can tell. Very smart. He's knowledgeable.
Hey, you want to run a green top and get a couple more steaks?
All right, so
Yeah.
so what this image is, I found this on the internet. It depicts some European people, and they're coming across what I believe is some Aztecs. So I guess this is the Spaniards, and they're meeting the Aztecs for the first time. And the Spaniards go, "You worship the sun?" And the Aztecs go, "Dude, the sun is real." I thought that was funny.
Yeah, the sun could also be like we worship the sun in Christianity too. Like, do you think there's like some kind of linguistic root there? It rises again every day. It gives life.
It is the ultimate provider.
Yeah, and you can say civilization follows the sun because it moves west. And so if you look at this through like a Marx perspective, you could say that Marxism was the next step for Western civilization. So Western civilization, it moved from maybe even from India to Sumeria, to the Levant, to Rome, to France, to Portugal and Spain, to England, to the east coast of the United States, to the west coast of the United States, and now it's in China.
Yeah, and hey, you know what? What if there was a translation of Jesus, right? Instead of Jesus being the Son of God, what if he's just the Sun God? Ah.
Oh shit, that's trippy. That is really trippy. And the most ancient civilization is the Egyptians that we know of. I'll fact check myself.
And it was Ra that's the sun god. Isn't that right?
Yeah, they worship the sun.
Yeah.
They also had a whole silly Heliopolis.
Hey, you want to take this while I piss?
Oh boy. All right. Great stuff.
What?
Yeah, take this. I gotta piss.
Oh.
I'll just put it right
How
here.
you doing, brother?
Hey, how's it going, man?
I believe with all my heart that Jesus Christ was real and not just the Son God. I do believe that he was the reincarnated. He was God's word in the flesh. I do believe that.
Well, yeah, I think that's probably a good belief to have. As I said previously, I don't believe that you were here, but I'm not myself a Christian, but I support people having faith. I think that faith is good for humanity.
Yeah, I think all of them are with the basic same principle as love one another, which I feel like is essential in our world because, like, the expression of love, becoming love and loving people unconditionally impacts people in a very, very positive way. I do believe that love will always win, regardless of what God you pray to. A lot of almost all the religions recognize Jesus Christ. Like that are current, maybe not like Buddhist or whatever, but
Oh, you mean like metaphorically? Or sorry, you're talking about the Abrahamic religions, like Islam
right.
recognizes Jesus. So, yeah, I guess we've hit the hour mark. So, are there any closing statements that you would like to say, Jix?
No, I can't think of anything right now.
Just feed the world and pray to God.
Yes.
Oh, all right, awesome.
Praise
spread
God.
light, man. Be encouraging and uplifting to one another. It can seriously change the trajectory of somebody's whole entire life.
All glory to the true God.
Those are some very positive vibes. So with that, I guess this has been a very different episode than you guys maybe used to, but here it is nonetheless. So thank you all for listening. If you like this sort of what we're doing, talking, shooting the shit, then like and subscribe. It helps the channel. But with that, peace out, everyone.
Peace out.
Peace.